First, a disclaimer, yes, these vlogs are my opinion. With all the talk of the Penske and Gibbs appeals going and the Gibbs appeal stopping at the 3-member appellate commission and the Gibbs appeal going all the way to John Middlebrook, I've compiled a list of the drivers, crew chiefs, and so forth. And I will include a link to the NASCAR.com article on the diverse group. It shows every person in the group. I made some notes on the ones I don't know a lot about, but here goes, and this may be more in one part. And the drivers: Buddy Baker, winner of 1980 Daytona 500. If he still is involved behind the scenes, I'm okay with that, but it's been a lot of years since Buddy Baker raced or was a car owner, so questionable. Janet Guthrie, same deal. It's been probably 30 years since she drove in a race. How involved is she? Here's one I don't understand at all. Hurley Haywood, noted sports car driver, good driver in the type racing he run, but what's his connection to NASCAR? I frankly don't understand that. Bill Lester, the first African American to compete in all 3 national series. Technically Wendell Scott may have, but the Truck Series didn't exist then. The Modified Series was around, and the Nationwide Series was known as Late Model Sportsman. Bill Lester, possibly a good one. Robert Presley, a retired driver, made some cup starts, won some what we now know as nationwide races. Yeah, probably, and the family's still involved in racing. Shauna Robinson, the first woman to sit on a nationwide pole, so it wasn't Danica at Daytona last year in the nationwide. How out of touch are they? That's my concern with a lot of these. Lynn St. James, the first woman to win Rookie of the Year at the Indy 500. How much knowledge of stock car racing does she have? And I have this, frankly, I have this about a few people on this list. Crew chiefs, there's 2 of them. Buddy Parrott, who had the impossible win at Daytona 500 with Derek Cope, although it says, I believe it's wrong, you will read he won the Daytona 500 with Richard Petty. I don't believe he did, but he did win it with Derek Cope. Waddell Wilson, noted engine builder. He had the power. Cal Yarborough, when he drove the Hardee's car for Ranier, was running Waddell Wilson engines till Yates took over. After Wilson left, Robert Yates took over. Car owner, called the shots on the box. Yeah, possibly a good one. Jack Housby, car owner, fielded a car for Pete Hamilton, maybe among others in NASCAR's Premier Series, but more known as a USAC car owner with Ramo Stott. Steve Lewis, a USAC car owner, sprints and midgets. Tony Stewart was among his drivers. And these next 2 I'm going to do together because I have the same concern on. Bud Moore, the last 2 car owners, Bud Moore and Robert Yates. Both, Robert Yates especially, his son builds all the Ford engines on the circuit. In fact, when David Reagan pulled off the episode of Talladega a week or so ago, Bob Jenkins, and not the ESPN Bob Jenkins that owns that car, mentioned Doug Yates, which is Robert Yates' son. So if it's a major Ford team and he was not picked on the Penske appeal, I can't see Robert Yates. Bud Moore, NASCAR Hall of Famer, not been out of the sport all that long, possibly a good one, but again, I would be concerned if it's a major Ford team. Turn the paper over, and we go to track operators, and have kind of the same concern on some track operators. Marker Root, Stafford Springs. I'm sure their Root family. If most of these track operators, and I'm going to go over these pretty quick, if it's a fight type situation, yeah, they might be okay. Lee Baumgarten, Phoenix. Clay Campbell, Martinsville. Now, Clay Campbell does do some racing. He's raced in K&N. Joey Chitwood, Daytona. Ed Clark, Atlanta. Major tracks, but just how much on rule violations. Barbara Cromartie, Riverhead Raceway, nice little track on Long Island. I believe the only track left, same deal. Doug Fritz, president of Iowa Speedway, former president of Richmond Speedway. Again, same deal on these track operators. Richard Gore, Old Dominion Raceway, same deal, just how much rule violations. Russell Hackett, Caraway Speedway, same deal. Barbara, and I'm going to butcher this name, Igdalski, or Brandon, I'm sorry, Igdalski Pocono. Well, if you're smart, you would shorten your cup races to 300 miles, so. Stan Lasky, Motordrome Speedway, a former late model driver, 3 cup starts as an owner. My concern would be how long ago. Grant Lynch, Dennis McGlynn from Talladega, Dennis McGlynn from Dover, Steve Page from Sonoma. Same question. How much do you know about rule violations? Although I understand. Now, Dale Pinellas from Bowman Gray. I kind of like somebody from Bowman Gray. Watch it on YouTube, or if you used to watch it show on one of the channels, the Madhouse Show. Yeah, Bowman Gray, if it's a fight situation. Kathy Rice with South Boston, and Kevin Whitaker. I'm kind of watching my time. Kevin Whitaker with Greenville Pickens. Again, how much do they know about rule violation? Then we go over to John White, Chemung Speedrome. Same deal. Now here's one I have a problem with. Jim Williams, former operator of the Irwindale Speedway. Was he the one that closed it down? That's, I would have to wonder. Joe DeWitt Wilson, I'm sure something to do with the late L.G. DeWitt, promoter at Rockingham, owner of Benny Parsons Championship and Daytona 500 winning cars. I'm sure daughter, granddaughter, sure there has to be something. Now we go to administrators. Jeff Belkis, chief executive of IndyCar. What does IndyCar know about NASCAR? Same with John Bishop, former executive with SCCA. Paul Brooks, president of NASCAR Media Group. You know, how much does he know? That's my concern with a lot of these people. Here's one, should not be on the board. John Capels, former executive with USAC. USAC could screw up more racing series than anybody going. They lost IndyCar. They had a good stock car division in the 70s, and even some of the cars competed at the cup level and won. AJ Foyt won in a Jack Bowsler car at Riverside. Ken Clapp, former promoter, don't know a lot about. Here's one I don't like. David Hall, former president of Gaylord Entertainment, which owned the Nashville network. And here's why I don't like him. Is this the same Nashville network that blocked ESPN from even getting in the racetrack? John Horton, chief steward, Bowman Gray. Now there's one I like. Don Panos, in entrepreneur. I will put the link in. Jay Signori, former president of IROC, possibly a good one. And Humpy Wheeler, former promoter at Charlotte Motor Speedway, been involved in racing all his life. I believe has a consulting group now. Kind of like him in there. Now I'm going to cut this off and I'm going to come back with the rest of them on part 2.